I owe you guys a bit of an explanation as to what has been happening and what's been going on behind the scenes with the channel and me. Now, for those of you who don't know, my name is Silent Sound. I'm still not very big on YouTube. I hope to get to that point one day. As for what's happening, you're probably going to notice a difference in the sound quality of my microphone, and now that's because I've been changing locations quite a bit over the last few years, the last 5 years at least. Now, I haven't been able to actually do anything in the last 3 or 4 years now due to the fact that I've gone through a number of job changes and changes in my way of living, mainly where my home is at. So I'm going to try to take it to the beginning and try to keep as on track as possible. For those of you that don't know, I was working at a gas station about 3 years ago, and I worked there for about 2.5 years. But I made do with it. I collected what I could for my YouTube channel. Now the reason is for this is I was watching a YouTuber, one of my favorite YouTubers on YouTube. Obviously, I mean, come on now, that's pretty much my TV, my DVR these days. I don't exactly like what's going on cable. It's not exactly the greatest shows, especially considering this August of 2023, Cartoon Network, well, one, its shows were just crap the last few years, and they just got shut down. That's quite a bit to take in because I pretty much grew up with that, with Cartoon Network my entire life. Now, something else that you're probably going to be noticing and probably wondering is, why are you talking about this year, this time? Well, I'm still currently waiting for my internet provider to actually come install my internet at my newest place of living. Trying to get back on my feet and get things the way that they used to be. For those of you who don't know, I'm from the Kentucky and Tennessee area of America. That's where I was born, that's where I was raised. It's pretty much where I lived most of my life. Now, the last 4 years have been pretty rough. I went from working this gas station. The reason why I'm not mentioning name brands or company names is because I don't need any legalities following after this video, trying not to have any of that. I've worked at quite a few different retail stores in my life. I can't exactly name any of those either. I went from paying like that $500 to like $600 to like $700 a month. So it got to the point where I wasn't able to afford any of that. Now, during this time of where it went from $500 to $700, I went through a few different jobs. Gas station for 2.5 years. Then I went to started building sheds, houses, garages out in Arizona for about 8 months. My supervisor one day, he had just walked out. Said he couldn't exactly, he's not going to sit here and take the heat for a bunch of dumb decisions that was being made on other people's parts. So he left. My foreman and my manager both asked me what the hell was going on with that. I explained to them, and they welcomed him back. They apologized, they made up, they promised him this and that. Not sure if they actually fell through on those promises or not. But my supervisor never extended that same courtesy out to me when I did so. And then I went to driving people around between the city and the airport, and let's be honest, that was not a very good job at all. Um, that was only giving me like 200 every 2 weeks. That was not good. That was not cutting it, not helping me make ends meet whatsoever. So during this time that I'm living there, and I go from living in my apartment, to basically living out of my truck for about 2-3 weeks with me and my dog. Now, with this happening, I wound up losing my job, but I was still able to get a tent and a few pieces of plywood to put under the tent, so I had an actual floorboard. My main source of entertainment was my laptop that I used to record all this stuff on, and that was just so I didn't go crazy, just staying in a tent this entire time. During which I still had a truck. It was a Ford Explorer. That thing was like the Millennium Falcon of trucks. It had all these problems left and right, and it still got me from point A to point B, but it just killed on the gas. So I wound up trading that thing out after I used it to get my groceries, keep me and my dog sheltered, and basically give my dog car rides so he wasn't feeling so restricted in the tent. I traded it out for a dirt bike, after which I actually learned to enjoy that a little bit more than street bike. And I think I might be getting myself another one, if not another pickup truck, for while I'm out here in Tennessee, since I moved back, considering this is my state, like my home state. I've spent like 13 years in Clarksville, Tennessee, so that's pretty much where I was raised. So I've been busting my ass after, well, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I remember when my buddy Darko made the offer that if I ever wanted to be brought back to Tennessee, that he'd do it. He'd do his damnedest to be able to pull me back to the state I belong. And well, he did. And it wasn't without any kinds of problems or tribulations that followed. So I called him up through Facebook Messenger, FaceTime, and I explained the situation after he saw what was behind me was the canvas of a tent, and I explained to him I was living in it. I was homeless. I didn't have any options really. I was pulling in what food I could off of EBT and Salvation Army when they were willing to help and able to help, So he said, well, let me make a few calls. So he works up what kind of money he can after he gives me a call and says, look, pretty much nobody else is willing to help out with this except for my wife. So we're actually going to go ahead and say about 3 months from now, we're going to go ahead and come out in the car, or at least I'm going to, pick you up and your dog and whatever stuff we can cram into my wife's car and bring you back. So he does this. So he gets out here, he helps me pack up. By this time, the windstorms have pretty much destroyed my tent that I was living in, because it was a really bad thunderstorm that was happening. So we pack up the car, we get what we can out the storage unit, we pack it up, and we go to start driving out, and we're about to hit the New Mexico border. Transmission gets locked into second. Yeah. So we're hitting about 5,000 RPMs. We're not really going too fast. We're going maybe, if lucky, 25, 30 miles an hour. Car's still not wanting to shift. So we have to drive our way back to this old turkey shop, or not turkey shop, this old beef jerky shop that I've never really even heard of until then. We sit there for about 3 hours waiting for the tow guy to show up after the insurance, and then he finally shows up. He takes us back into Arizona towards Safford. Yeah, we went backwards, not forwards. So the tow driver is smart, though. He tells us that the dealership that we're being hauled off to has a very bad reputation. So he sets us at the front of their gallery where everybody can basically see us in this in a car where there's 2 guys, a dog, and a pizza box up in the dash. And this all makes the dealership look bad. They had told us it was going to be 2 weeks until they were going to be able to actually see us and get the vehicle in shop. And that wasn't kind of for my buddy, considering he has a kid that he's got to take care of. He's got a wife he's got to get back to. He's got to try to get another job. Anyways, it takes them about a week. I'm spending what little money I possibly can, trying to save as much as I can for my life back out in Tennessee. Well, this means I have to constantly go to the gas station that's a few blocks away, to walking out to Walmart that's several blocks away, to basically pull food for me and my buddy and my dog, so that way we all had food in order to keep on living. So with this being said, about a week later, because we get stuck there Tuesday, they finally pull us in Monday of the next week. So they finally say, look, we're going to go ahead and get you out of here because we feel kind of bad. They didn't feel bad. They knew we were making them look bad. So they just wanted us out of there, out of the gallery, so we're not making the customers go, what the hell's going on here? You know? So they pull our car in, but by the time they pull the car in, it's going to wind up being the coldest nights of the week. So we walk back out to Walmart. We get a couple of sleeping bags because we felt like we were probably going to be left homeless, having to sleep out on a couple of park benches just about a block away from the dealership. And the reason for this is because one of the local mines out in Arizona broke down and they shut down. So they bought out literally every single motel and hotel room out there. There was nothing left for us. So his mom calls up and we explain the situation to her, and she starts calling around town and finds the last available option. Calls them up, tells them, look, we got 2 guys that need a place to sleep tonight until the dealership can get their head out their ass. And we managed to walk our way there. My buddy goes in and explains the situation of, look, if you deny us with that dog right now any place to sleep, we're all basically going to be homeless this coldest night of the week. I'm willing to pay a pet deposit, whatever it takes to get us in. And she goes, alright, I understand. No pet deposit. You guys stay safe, be safe. 1 room, 2 beds. You guys stay here for as long as you need until the car is fixed. Just make sure you pay for the nights that you stay. Well, come next morning, or next day I should say, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the dealership finally fixed up our vehicle, but they never gave us a call. Apparently it had been fixed since like 9 o'clock that morning. And my buddy's sitting there going, I ought to be mad. But I can't, due to the fact that we at least had a place to sleep. So he finally gets out there. He walks his way over to the dealership, drives the car back. During this time, I'm packing up the stuff that we have in the motel that we came in there with: laptops, sleeping bags, dog bowl with dog food, leash, harness, all this stuff. And well, with that being said, packed everything up, managed to drive back out to Tennessee. We stopped about halfway, got some sleep, drove the rest of the way. Didn't get there until like sometime midnight, and they didn't exactly have a place in the house for me to sleep. They didn't have a spot or a tent, I should say, for me to sleep. Instead, I was sleeping in a fifth wheel camper that was slowly falling apart. Now, don't get me wrong, that is a definite upgrade as compared to a tent that's being held up, barely being held up by 1x2 sticks. So I lived out of there for about 5 months, and then actually 8 months really. 8 months I lived out of that camper, and during this time I'm having to fight wasps and bees and hornets that managed to get in. I survived that little bit. That's a minor problem as compared to being homeless, but slowly making progress. We are making progress as compared to where we were. For those of you that have been here that are watching this video, they're still watching this video and even watch this video until the end of it, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your support. I appreciate everything that's been going on aside from the whole homeless part, but that homeless part definitely gives you a better look into things that you wouldn't understand if you hadn't been there yourself. So that being said, about 3 months after living in this camper, I finally managed to get a job at a factory. I'm currently working on my 5th month right now. I've been busting my ass trying to make sure I have everything in line in order to try to make any kind of videos and whatnot. If you guys are wondering, yes, again, I'm still waiting on an internet service provider to actually come out here. I got myself a decent gaming router so I can upload, download, watch YouTube, upload to YouTube. There's a whole lot going on into this right now. Like I said, I still have over half my stuff in that storage unit back in Arizona. I'm hoping to be able to go back out there this December and reclaim it. By that time I should have my recording studio back at full quality and full power. For those of you who don't know that on how I was getting YouTube or even doing YouTube in the first place, I had a little hotspot router, a little LTE Nighthawk. Now AT&T is telling me that no such plan exists for unlimited data. That is $50 for 50 gigs a week, or not a week, a month. So I mean, not exactly the best solution I've got right now. So I'm willing to pay the $80 a month for 1 gigabyte a second for my current internet provider. I'm just waiting for them to come out here and install stuff. But yeah, I go from living in that camper after about 3 months, 4 months working there, and getting full time at my job, and now I have a house. I know you guys probably noticed the difference in the recording quality of the microphone, all the background noise. I'm in a house now, guys. I might not own it, and I might be renting it, but there's still a bigger boost in freedom and upgrade as compared to what I've had most other times. like an apartment or a tent where you're not exactly allowed to do a whole lot of crazy stuff or get real loud during your recordings. I have freedom I have not felt in a very, very long time. And I appreciate that. I'm going to keep working on things. I'm going to keep working to make things better. I'm going to keep trying to edit my videos and keep posting them. I'm I'm just happy to be where I'm at now. I've been through quite a bit. I know a lot of you guys have too. For those of you who are watching me, I appreciate the support. I appreciate you guys subscribing, leaving a like, sharing, all of this. It's been a bummer of a journey, but we're finally getting somewhere, you know? Now, yeah, the house I have has got a few things I can nitpick at, such as I don't have a washer and dryer, and yes, the doors are pretty small for me to get one in here, but it's still a house. I mean, this, I can't say that I've had this before in my life. Now, one of the big upgrades compared to the camper, I have a fridge. Yeah, this comes with most houses that you rent or even apartments, but it's a fridge. In the camper, I didn't have one, so I didn't exactly have a whole lot of space for food storage. So I was very limited during my time in the camper to just boxes of macaroni and cheese and chili, mixing that together and making chili mac. But it's better than nothing. Hell, even ramen, that gets old after a while, but you're still thankful to have that and a stovetop and burner to be able to cook your food. So, I mean, hell, even my own separate shower from everybody else and everything else, that's awesome. But we're going to try to keep up with this. My buddy Darko, he's going to be back on these videos. We're going to try to play through quite a bit of Halo, Dark Souls. We're even going to try to play on Dredge. I know we said that we were going to do that in my previous PSA. But this is more just like a update vlog to explain to you guys what has actually been happening for the difference in the microphone sounds or the way the microphone is sounding, the background noises. It's just that a bunch of changes are happening, and I'm slowly getting things back to the way they need to be and making them better. Aside from that, guys, I appreciate you again. I appreciate you guys' support. I don't think I'd be here without you guys. Hell, I probably still would if I don't have that many subscribers. So again, I appreciate you guys being subscribed, your support, your likes, your shares, everything. Make sure to leave a comment in the video. I haven't seen one of those in a long time. I know it's been about a year since a little over a year since I've last posted a video. But we're finally making it somewhere, and I just wanted to make sure that I kept you guys up to date with everything that's going on. So I don't know what else to say. I'll see you guys in the next one.